David Meltzer. Super pumped and honored that he took the time to jump on the show with me just a few weeks ago. This guy is incredible, and he's on a path to impact 1 billion people. So without any further ado, guys, welcome to the Digital Agency Hacker Podcast. Everything you need to know to grow and scale a sustainable and healthy digital marketing agency. Let's get rolling. All right, David, super pumped to have you on today, man. Really excited. I really want to talk, I guess, post-COVID, right? So most of our listeners are digital marketing agencies. So they're dealing with two effects, right? Like they're dealing with their own business, surviving, and then they're also dealing with almost being like a psychologist, right, to other businesses, working with roofers, plumbers, all this good stuff. And so I really wanted to learn your thoughts and ideas on how do businesses react right now as they're trying to come back, and also how to be a counselor to other businesses?
Yeah, so what we want to look at, number one, is let's not call it pre and post-COVID. Let's call it pre-vaccine and post-vaccine. So the variables will not stabilize until you have a vaccine. And so what we're trying to do is create business with an unstable environment. So in order to effectuate good business, you need to find what you do have control of, meaning where we do have stability. And so for you and your clients, as that counselor, a psychologist, as you said, we want to look at the things that you control. Number one, and most importantly, we want to take control of our own mindset, right? We have control of our own mindset. And we talked about this earlier, right? You need to have a lens of how can I be productive, meaning provide value, pre-vaccine. And the way that we decide how we can provide value is you have to know or take inventory of your skills. What skills do I have today? Two, the knowledge that I have, not only knowledge of the business, but knowledge of people, right? Who do I know? And then also, how do I control my mindset of the way my desire, right? Are you the try me guy, or are you the why me guy or girl? And so those three things determine our productivity lens of our mindset. Then we have an accessibility lens of our mindset. How accessible are we to others to provide that service or value in person, on the phone, via email or media, radio, print, TV, and social media? And and most importantly, believe it or not, how are we accessing what we want? And in order to determine that, we have to now align our skills and knowledge and these lenses of productivity and accessibility with what's doing well today. A third of the things out there are doing very well today. A third of the things are stable, and a third of things are getting their ass kicked. And so there's things to do in all three realms for you and your clients. One, if you're focusing the skills, the knowledge, and desire towards what's doing well, statistically and quantitatively, you'll do fine. Stability-wise, you want to build part of your business in that stable environment so that COVID and vaccines have nothing to do with your business. And then you want to take a few lottery tickets. You want to see, okay, some of these things have been completely oversold. I want to have some business acumen to take advantage of the future when that pendulum of emotion swings back. So mindset is not only the lens of productivity, what value you provide, accessibility of what you're receiving and how accessible, but also the lens of gratitude. Like I said, light, love, and lessons. Find the light, love, and lessons in all the suck that's out there, and you'll turn the suck into serious margins of millionaires and opportunities for you and your clients. The next thing that you can control pre-vaccine is your heart set. And now this one takes years to me, but your heart set is how you feel. People will not believe me when I tell them that you control how you feel. I have 3 teenage daughters, and when people are mean to them, they're like, they hurt my feelings. I said, no, it's impossible for someone to hurt your feelings. You are allowing your feelings to change because of your insecurity or your fear or anxiety. You're allowing your feelings to change, and you're blaming it on the person that said, did, or thunk something about you. That just defines them as somebody that says, thinks, or does something about you. It's you that control your feelings. And so I really stress upon people, and as you know, empower them and teach them to take control of those feelings, of their heart set. Now, the last is actually where most people focus. Most people don't focus in on the mindset. Most people don't focus in on the heart set. They just allow that to happen naturally. Where they focus is, what do I think, say, do, and believe? You have control of what you think, say, do, and hear. the pragmatic part. You have complete control of everything you think, everything you say, everything you hear, and everything you do. So you want to be efficient, effective, and statistically successful. You want to align it with your heart set and mindset. Especially today, focus in on what you hear. Too many people are inundating them with negative energy, negative thoughts, negative ideas, negative people, because there's a lot of negativity. A third of the things out there are negative, right? A third are really positive, a third have stayed the same, and a third are really negative. Don't allow the negativity in. Don't allow people to tell you bad things. Don't listen to the news station all day long. If you want to get stable data, go seek it. There's something called the internet and Google. Everyone, you can go ahead and you put in what you want to find out in the morning, find out the statistics that impact your life or you think impact your life, and check it maybe at night. But don't sit there all day long doing a death count. That's not going to do you any good. I promise you. You want to know a death count, go check at the end of the day, see how you can stabilize your personal environment, heart set, mindset, etc., according to how many people are dying. That's fine. But all day long, it's not 171,621, 171,622. Yep. Oh my God, it went up another person. Don't do it. Don't do it. So take control of your mindset, your heart set, and what you think, say, do, and believe. And I promise you, pre-vaccine, you will maximize the opportunities that are doing well. You'll maximize the opportunities to stable what you're doing and your clients. And you'll have a couple lottery tickets that probably will do really good and really well because you have the foresight to see what's oversold so you can sell it when it's overbought.
One of my leadership coaches, he talks a lot about mindset, but he talks about training mindset because it's something, right? Like now we're in this chaotic VUCA world, as I guess the military would say. And if you're just now thinking about mindset, you might be too late, right? Because you got to kind of like train to become happy. You have to train your thought process. What are some things that you've done maybe to develop this? Because this isn't something you've done overnight, right?
Yeah, so I call it practice, right? So you just practice because training, to me, it creates resistance a lot of times. People avoid, like, I gotta be trained. Look, you just gotta practice and you gotta lower the bar. 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. So you got, number one, to enjoy the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of your own potential. And you need to practice ending fear. And there's 4 steps that I take to practice ending fear. One, take the time to identify what you're afraid of or where fear is present in your life, where anxiety is present in your life, where what I call the ego-based consciousness is peeking its ugly head and creating resistance, void, shortages, obstacles, interference, and corrosion to that great source of light, love, and lessons, that great powerful source that we're always connected to. So what do? Number one, I've identified a list of things like the need to be right. I promise you, if you go back in your life, no matter how old you are, and you look at how much time, emotion, money, and resources you've wasted trying to be right, good luck. How about the need to be offended? That's one of my biggest ego-based consciousness. I get offended. Oh, how dare they? Oh my God, can you believe they say, trust me, if you have a need to be offended, it will be satisfied so quickly. I wish I could feed the world. If the need to be offended was equal to the need for food, I'd feed the entire world within seconds. That's how easy the need to be offended is filled. The need to be separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, and all these different. So number one step is start identifying the ego-based consciousness, the need, because you can't practice ending it if you don't know it's present. And so many people are not enlightened or aware that they're even accelerating in the wrong direction, that they're causing themselves, they're so far in their own way and they don't even know it. So start practicing, identify what you're afraid of. 2, be a ferocious person and stop when you're in that ego-based consciousness. So you now have identified that you have a need to be right and you're arguing about nothing. I always say apply rule number 6, don't take yourself so seriously, and stop. Do not accelerate in the wrong direction. Don't exacerbate a situation. Don't attack, put judgments and conditions on whatever person's making you feel this way or place or thing. Don't give it any energy. Stop. Then become a Buddha. So now you're a ferocious Buddha, and drop, the 3rd step. So first is identify, second is stop, third is drop. And the way that we drop down to center, down to our peaceful neutrality, down to a higher frequency, elevated sense of peace, is simply breathe. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, until you find out, why am I so afraid? Oh, I'm not afraid. I'm this, this is something I got to work on. Then what we do, we're able, once we're in neutral, to turn our wheels into the right direction and go ahead and roll. So identify, stop, drop, and roll. That's the best way to practice ending fear, to know that you're an ego-based consciousness, to be more productive, accessible, and gracious, and be happier with everything you do, to make more money, help more people, and have more fun with your entire life.
That's beautiful, man. I love it. Do you ever, random question a little bit, do you ever do ice baths, which,
Yeah, I'm a
like,
Hoff method guy. I'm a Hoff
yeah, okay.
method. I take cold showers. I do ice baths.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I have an extremely strong immune system because of it. And I
yeah.
attribute that to being one of the reasons that I do. I sleep in 67-degree weather to 64-degree weather, but I take ice showers and ice baths, every single day.
That's beautiful, man. I just got into that about a year ago, and I'm a believer, man. I think it's huge. I want to switch topics just a little bit, because I think that's amazing stuff. Scaling. I think right now, I mean, this goes for me, like, specifically. Uh, I'm a very cautious person. I think a lot of people right now are being very cautious, right? And I think the big question I have is around investing right now, right? Investing in marketing, investing in hiring. We just hired a Facebook person from Royal Caribbean because she was on the market. Going forward versus, hey, let's save. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when this is going to come back, so on and so forth. What are your thoughts on balancing these two? Is there a certain amount? Dave Ramsey teaches 4 to 6 months of cash savings, but what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, look, for me, I always save a certain percentage starting at the beginning of the year, right? It's predetermined, unemotional savings. I always buy when I believe something is oversold, and I always sell when it's overbought. I don't tie my emotions to it, whether it's real estate, cars, or businesses. If you can maximize the margins of millionaires by always buying when something's oversold and always selling it when it's overbought, it doesn't matter what it is, including employees, right? Right now, there's a huge oversold market, which means you should be a buyer of human capital. There are people, executive vice presidents of huge companies that are looking. There's huge talent out there. And even better, a lot of these people have been in 13 years of exponential and expanding growth. And, there's going to be a huge market of people that are now going to realize that they should take a vacation, a different kind of vacation than the ones they've been spoiled because there's always a job waiting for them. The vacation everyone should be taking right now is called hard work, because hard work is a vacation from poverty. And a lot of the younger people, 35 and under, are going to start realizing that, they've been on a certain vacation, but now they better take the other vacation called hard work and drop their feelings, getting their feelings hurt, because there's not going to be enough jobs for everyone. And those people that take the vacation of hard work are going to avoid poverty. And those who stay entitled and think they're worth more than they are, look, they were worth what they were paid, and they were overpaid because there was a shortage of talent. Now there's an extreme talent. And in scaling a business, by the way, there's 3 sections. One, the investment phase, which you're in right now, to break even with every employee, every piece of furniture, et cetera. Then there's the execution phase to scale up and get triple, quadruple, 100 times earnings. Then there's an equity phase where you can sell your entire business because it's overbought, or you can start giving equity to the people that have built your business, or whatever it is. So know that those 3 phases, I always predetermine my savings, and I always in my savings determine that I do not want to save anything that will cost me time, money, or resource, meaning, the old stock market stuff. I wasted so much time, money, and emotions watching a stock market that I had no control of, instead of just investing in an index-based annuity that was guaranteed to make me 2%, even if the market crashed, and only gives me 60 to 70% of the upside. But who cares what my money makes? For me, all my focus is on making the money with what I'm good at, my skills, my knowledge, my desire, not something that I'm guessing at, like stocks and bonds and things that I have no control over.
Do you have a specific number of, again, like Dave has the 4 to 6 months of cash. He's trying to, just make sure to protect his family.
I like 2 years. I like 2 years is what I saved for when I was young. And Bob Proctor told me that, like, you would not believe the freedom and opportunity and options that come with having 2 years saved cash. Now, I also believe in it, and no matter how much I make, I have a set amount I want to live on. So, like, one of the guys that I love, Funches, he's a wide receiver, probably makes 10 million a year. He lives on 8,000 a month, right? He lives on 8,000 a month. I've lived my life the last 14 years exactly the same. I have a budget. Everything else I give away through me, and I live on a certain amount no matter what I make or don't make. I live on that amount, and that allows me to have, the 2 years savings so that I never have to let my emotions of fear get involved.
I love that. I love that. Completely switching gears now. And I love talking, especially entrepreneurs. I've got a 2-year-old and then I got a second one on the way.
Congrats.
Yeah. Super, super pumped. One of the things I always like to talk to entrepreneurs about is their families. How do they balance, right? And different phases, right? Like when you're a startup, it's like, shoot, man, if this doesn't win, what do I do? How do my kids eat? So this is like the mental is just, I got to do everything. And then it flows to, okay, now my business is more stable. How have you found that balance? And I've heard you talk a lot about this, but I'm going to ask you to repeat a little bit of it.
Yeah. So number one, when I look at my family, I look at the first thing and prioritize the most non-negotiable thing about your family is you, right? Is you. And you mentioned how your family's connected to, what if I can't feed my family? That's exactly where I shifted. The biggest paradigm of my family is I need to take care of myself because I can't give what I don't have. And if I'm not here, right, if I'm wearing myself to death and I die, that's not going to be good for me or my family. So take care of yourself first, non-negotiable. I give minimums amount of times to my non-negotiable, meaning I give a minimum of an hour a day on my health. And I know that if I spend a minimum of an hour a day, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 8, minimum of an hour a day, every day, 7 days a week, I will get the exponential value out of my health. 2, a minimum amount of time with each person, no matter what you're doing. Startup phase, execution, exit phase, buying, selling stuff. Look, there's a bunch of adaptable things that are going to happen. So I give a minimum of 30 minutes a day to my wife, 7 days a week, a minimum of 30 minutes a day to my 10-year-old son every day a week. I give a minimum of 2 minutes a day to my 3 teenage daughters. I asked for 5, they gave me 2. Remember, 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, 2 minutes a day, especially in relationships. And then I even give my mom a minimum of a minute a day to tell her I'm happy, healthy, love her, and appreciate her. Those 4 things solidify every single day my relationship. My mom has never felt more secure in our relationship and happier for me and have been more supportive of me because every day I spend a minimum amount of time telling her I'm happy, I'm healthy, I love her, and appreciate her. So when you balance, that means that you are just considering the percentage of time that you're going to spend with your family every day. It doesn't mean that I spend 8 hours a day sleeping, 8 hours a day with my family, and 8 hours a day working. That's ridiculous. And it would be a waste of time, and they would end up hating you. At least my family would. If I spend 8 hours a day with any one of my family members every single day to stay balanced, they'd kick me out of the house. They'd kill me. So it'd be bad for my health. They conspire, all of them, just to kill me. So I think it's important for people to realize there's no equitable balance of time. The equitable balance is the daily, consistent, persistent potential of the relationship, giving it a realistic approach, knowing that through exponentiality that you can get more value from 2 minutes a day than 2 hours one day a week. And people see through that, hey, let me take you, golfing today, buddy. Dad, you've been gone 2 weeks and now you're going to take me golfing because you want to go golfing. And that's not a relationship. But every single day, FaceTiming them from the road for 13 days and then, minimum of 30 minutes, right? Then saying, hey, bud, like we talked about the last 13 days, I know you really like to go to Dave and Buster's. Why don't we play 9 holes and then go to lunch and Dave and Buster's afterwards? Oh, could we? I love you, Dad, right? These are subtle differences. Meanwhile, I've spent 30 minutes a day and the Saturday even means more, and they're just minimums.
How long have you been doing that, David, if I can ask?
14 years. So I didn't have as many kids for 14 years, but I started taking inventory of my personal experiential giving and receiving values, starting being student of my calendar, asking and attracting, doing it now, and practicing ending fear as a complete system 14 years ago under the context of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. Now, when I say I started 14 years ago, I am way better today than I was 14. Remember, I'm a hypocrite. Everything that I'm telling you, I'm still trying to do and perfect, but I do it way better than I did it 14 years ago. And my results are exponential compared to where they were. So I even forget some days to be grateful. I just don't forget for that long.
it amazes me because I mean, most men would say their most important thing is their families. I mean, pretty much hands down, right? And then you have the, variations maybe of people that mean it. And it's amazing to me how little that commitment is there of just what you said, the non-negotiable time. I've personally said that from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock when my daughter goes to sleep, no phone, right? No phone. And it's embarrassing how hard that is. Like, it's embarrassing how hard it is to just turn off my phone when somebody's messaging me, a client's upset. I can justify it every way known to man. Do
I
you, do
do
you
the
turn
same
off your
thing.
phone? You turn off everything in those 30 minutes? It's just,
Yeah. Let me give everybody, I love giving tips, and helping people. The best
yeah,
thing pre-COVID that I did with my friends. So, first of all, as you get older, hanging out with buddies, your friends is rare. So if you get one of those 10 to 12 person dinners, right? And it's usually at a really nice restaurant, you
yeah,
know, nowadays it's changed. Everyone's looking at their camera, their phones, all that stuff, right? And so I created a system where if I go out with a group of guys and friends, everyone has to put their phone in the middle. And if they take their phone, they at least get one portion of the bill, if not all the bill, if nobody else goes in. So you should see some of the guys that are struggling so much. I can see them staring at their phone going, God, this is going to cost me a lot of money for this phone call. And then finally, one will break and be like, oh, F it. And then another. And then the other thing that's nice is, as you know, between friends, it's always hard to split a bill 12 ways. And so
right.
this is a really fair way to take care of the bill without having to do it.
I'm gonna start doing that on my work trips. Let's see if I can get someone else to fork the bill a couple of times. All right,
Exactly. You got
man. I love
and
that.
have their wife text them it's an emergency.
There you go. I need to
Do me a
pre-set up
favor,
some
text your husband it's an emergency.
pre-set up some barriers there. That's gold right there. Man, I love it, man. Family's so important, and I think in entrepreneurship, it's so difficult now, especially in COVID. It's difficult because of I don't know. Everything seems to be chaotic and just crazy. So the last thing, man, I wanted to chat about. I love talking about commitments. What are people actually committed to? You mentioned a few minutes ago. Hard work is a vacation from poverty, right? And so when we're committed to something great, and I know you have several things that you work on, it drives us through the pain, the suffering. It drives us where we want to get up early to actually do it. We want to stay up late to get it done. What are you committed to right now in your life? Maybe this has changed, but right now.
So I'm committed to empowering over 1 billion people to be happy. It wakes me up early every day, keeps me up and on schedule. I shouldn't say anything doesn't keep me up late because I do have an unwinding routine. So I pass out by 11 every day. I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day, but it inspires me and puts me back to center. And so my goal is to find, 1,000 people like you, JC, that I know in your lifetime will empower 1,000 more people to empower another 1,000. 1,000 times 1,000 is 1,000,000. 1,000,000 times 1,000 is 1,000,000,000. So what wakes me up every day in this stage of my life is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, to create a collective consciousness of happiness, of abundance. I believe happiness is the greatest disease. You and I create it simply by people witnessing us, talking about happiness. No other disease can you spread by witnessing. No other disease can you spread simply to everyone by witnessing it. And so it's so viral, but it strengthens like no other virus. It strengthens your immune system. So it protects you from other viruses. It strengthens you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and financially. Statistically, happy people are way more wealthy than anybody else. And it's not because of the wealth. It's because that's how they got the wealth. Happiness is a means, just like forgiveness is a means that unwinds the untruths, allow you not to take yourself so seriously, allows you to be productive, accessible, and gracious in every moment, even chaotic, compressed uncertainty moments like pandemics. You'll see the happy people will come out of here better than they went in there. And the negative people will come out worse than they went in. That's a given. It's mathematically proven. It's a technology. So for me, please, I do free trainings every Friday. I give my books for free. I got 4 international bestsellers. I give them for free. I give my exercises, my guides for free. I have a free training course. Simply, I'm going to humbly, and I know that people, when I started this 3.5 years ago, I've been training for 20 years, but with a purpose of changing the world, laughed at me, made fun of me, scoffed at me. Now they're applauding me. And, when I break down the math and they meet people like you, they're like, gosh, I think David Meltzer can change the world because he can easily find 1,000 JCs to do this. And I get what he's doing. And I believe that he can do that more than I thought he could make $1 billion. He can change the world and make 1 billion people happy, which guaranteed will make trillions, if not zillions of dollars. If I have 1 billion people in unconscious competency of happiness, it'll be a universe of abundance. And there is more than enough of everything for everyone. Promise me one touch of favor for over 1 billion people, and this universe changes.
Incredible, man. I love it. I'm humbled that you took the time to jump on here. I love, man, I follow you on Instagram. I follow a lot of your different stuff. And so where's the best place for people to follow you if they just want to just dig into material as it's coming out?
So know my name at David Meltzer on YouTube and LinkedIn, David Meltzer, dmeltzer.com. And most importantly, if you need anything, I do answer all my own emails. It's david@dmeltzer.com. And I have a text community. We can text one another, 949-298-2905. Please reach out. I will get back to you personally. If you don't believe it, I'll send you a voice text back going, yes, it's me. Please believe me. I will help you.
I can testify to it. David, it's a blessing, man. It's an honor. I hope you have an awesome week, brother.
You too. Enjoy Nicaragua, and congratulations on the babies. Take care. Stay happy and healthy.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, man.
See ya. Thanks, guys.
You.